The glittering lights of New York City have always acted as a beacon for dreamers, artists, and those searching for a stage where their deepest ambitions can take flight. It is a city built on the echoes of legendary performances, where the history of American theater breathes through the pavement of the theater district and into the historic venues that line the side streets of Manhattan. For decades, the trajectory of a rising star has followed a familiar yet daunting path, moving from local productions to regional showcases and ultimately aiming for the ultimate proving ground of the New York stage. In the modern era, that journey has taken on new dimensions, as young talents navigate the intense intersection of television fame, digital streaming success, and the timeless, demanding discipline of live theater. It is a world where security is fleeting, and the pressure to constantly evolve can overwhelm even the most resilient individuals. Yet, it is precisely within this high-stakes environment that true artists find their footing, stripping away the artificial layers of celebrity to rediscover the raw, unvarnished passion that drew them to the craft in the first place. This transition requires more than just talent. It demands immense courage, a willingness to embrace vulnerability, and an unwavering commitment to artistic reinvention against the backdrop of a bitterly cold Thursday in early 2026. The bustling energy of the city feels amplified by the biting winter wind that sweeps across the avenues. Pedestrians hurry along the sidewalks, bundled in heavy coats, their breath turning to mist in the freezing air. Amidst the standard rhythm of the New York afternoon, a distinct pocket of excitement begins to form outside the historic West Side Theater. This intimate venue, nestled away from the overwhelming neon glare of Times Square, possesses a rich history of hosting groundbreaking productions that challenge and entertain audiences in equal measure. On this particular day, an hour before the box office opens its doors for the evening performance, a dedicated group of theater enthusiasts and devoted fans begins to gather in the lobby. The atmosphere inside the warmth of the building is electric, filled with the low murmur of anticipation and the occasional burst of excited chatter. Fans drift in and out, eagerly inquiring about ticket availability, hoping against hope to secure a coveted seat for a show that has rapidly become one of the most talked-about tickets of the season. For one incredibly fortunate individual, the afternoon brings an unexpected moment of pure joy as they manage to score a front-row ticket to a performance scheduled for the following week. It is a testament to the magnetic pull of live performance, where a single ticket can represent an unforgettable window into a world of storytelling and musical mastery. If you want to stay updated on incredible journeys like this, and dive deeper into the stories shaping the entertainment world today, make sure to subscribe to our channel and join our growing community of passionate viewers. Stepping past the lively box office and into the quiet sanctuary of the main auditorium, the frantic pace of the outside world instantly melts away. The theater in these moments prior to production feels sacred, a space hanging in suspense, waiting for the nightly transformation when lights, music, and human emotion collide. Sitting quietly in the front row, bathed in the soft ambient glow of the rehearsal lights, sits the young man at the center of this burgeoning theatrical phenomenon. Joshua Bassett, dynamic and naturally charismatic, is seen quietly sipping a warm cup of tea, grounding himself before the grueling demands of the evening performance begin. Known to millions globally for his breakout roles on television and his deeply resonant pop music, his presence here signifies a profound full-circle moment. There is an undeniable magnetism to his demeanor, a blend of youthful enthusiasm and a grounded maturity that immediately commands the room. The contrast between his global pop star persona and the quiet, introspective actor sitting at the edge of an off-Broadway stage highlights the duality of his current career chapter. As he offers a warm, genuine greeting, the sheer impact of his star power is palpable, temporarily disarming anyone who enters his orbit. Yet as he begins to speak, it becomes clear that beneath the polished exterior lies a deeply thoughtful artist who is actively navigating the complexities of fame, creative growth, and the pursuit of artistic authenticity. The conversation begins where his journey initially took root, long before the bright lights of Los Angeles and the pressures of international stardom redefined his daily existence. Returning to the theater represents far more than just a new career move for the young artist. It is a deliberate return to his creative foundations. Growing up, the theater was a sanctuary, a place where a young creative mind could find expression and community. However, the path back to the stage after a decade-long hiatus is fraught with unique psychological and physical challenges. The transition from the controlled environment of a television set where multiple takes are the norm and mistakes can be easily erased in the editing room, to the unforgiving reality of a live stage is immense. In live theater, there are no safety nets, no second chances, and nowhere to hide. Every line, every movement, and every musical note must be executed perfectly in real time, night after night, in front of a discerning and highly attentive audience. This realization brought with it a significant wave of anxiety during the early stages of preparation. Memories of strict childhood theater instructors, who frequently warned that the professional world would be unforgiving and filled with intense pressure, echoed in his mind as rehearsals commenced. The fear of forgetting lines, of failing to meet the high standards of an iconic production, and the sheer psychological weight of stepping into a legendary community created a crucible of self-doubt that had to be overcome. This internal tension was further complicated by the reality that he was exercising a creative muscle that had remained dormant for nearly 10 years. The physical and mental stamina required to sustain an off-Broadway run is notorious within the industry, demanding a level of vocal control, physical agility, and mental alertness that can only be developed through rigorous practice. In the initial weeks of rehearsal, the fear of falling short was a constant companion, as the fast-paced nature of the production required him to absorb vast amounts of material while simultaneously finding the emotional core of his character. Yet, it was within the unique, tight-knit environment of the West Side Theater that this anxiety began to transform into something profoundly beautiful. Unlike the often fragmented and isolated nature of large-scale television productions, the off-Broadway community thrives on a profound sense of shared destiny and collective support. Sharing tight quarters and a communal dressing room with a dedicated cast stripped away any room for pretension or ego, fostering a melting pot of shared experiences and mutual encouragement. This tight-knit family dynamic provided the emotional safety net necessary to push past the initial wall of panic, allowing him to view his mistakes not as failures, but as essential steps in a broader artistic evolution. As the days blended into weeks, the initial terror began to give way to a profound sense of liberation and joy. The unique magic of live theater lies in its fluidity, the exhilarating reality that no two performances are ever exactly the same. Each night offers a fresh canvas, an opportunity to tweak a line delivery, alter a physical gesture, and respond directly to the shifting energy of the audience. The crowds arriving at the West Side Theater brought an immense wave of positivity, their enthusiasm acting as a powerful fuel that energized the cast and elevated the production to new heights. For a performer who had spent years communicating with his audience through the sterile medium of screens and digital audio files, the immediate, visceral feedback of a live crowd was nothing short of transformative. The gasps, the laughter, and the thunderous applause provided an instant validation that cannot be replicated in any other medium. It became clear that this journey back to his roots was not just about proving his capabilities to the world, but about proving to himself that his passion for the craft was as vibrant and unyielding as it had been during his childhood days. The stage had welcomed him back, not as a fleeting Hollywood visitor, but as a true member of the theatrical family, setting the stage for a deeper exploration of the iconic role that had brought him to this pivotal moment in his artistic life. The culmination of an artistic journey is rarely defined by a single performance or a solitary creative achievement, but rather by the profound realization of how all the disparate threads of an artist's life weave together into a cohesive and meaningful narrative. As the winter chill of 2026 continues to hold New York City in its icy grip, the warmth inside the West Side Theater serves as a powerful reminder of the transformative nature of storytelling. For Joshua Bassett, this period represents a massive turning point, an era where the lines between his musical identity, his theatrical passions, and his personal history are blurring in the most spectacular way possible. This evolution is not a quiet or subtle shift. It is a bold, energetic leap into the unknown, driven by a deep desire to strip away the protective armor of celebrity and connect with audiences on a fundamentally human level. The journey from a self-taught teenage musician living out of a car in Los Angeles to a celebrated leading man on an off-Broadway stage is a testament to the power of persistence, but it is his upcoming memoir, Rookie, that promises to truly demystify the man behind the music and the characters, revealing the raw, unfiltered truth of his experiences to understand the emotional weight of this new literary endeavor. One must look closely at the unusual and fiercely creative foundation upon which his entire life was built. Describing his upbringing as being fundamentally unschooled, He reflects on a childhood that was entirely devoid of traditional academic constraints, replaced instead by an open-ended canvas of creative exploration. This unique environment allowed his artistic instincts to develop without the limitations of conventional expectations, fostering an early independence that would define his later career. When he was grounded at the age of 14, a moment that might have driven another teenager to isolation became the catalyst for his musical awakening. Locked away with a guitar, he taught himself how to play, discovering a direct conduit for his emotions that words alone could not provide. This initial spark quickly grew into a passion as he mastered the piano and the ukulele, channeling his adolescent experiences directly into songwriting. The very first song he ever composed was not written for fame or industry approval, but for the deeply relatable, earnest purpose of asking a girl to his high school homecoming dance. This pure, unvarnished connection to music as a tool for personal expression laid the groundwork for everything that was to follow. Establishing a creative philosophy that prioritizes emotional honesty above all else, driven by this burning creative fire, the transition to the professional world was marked by an extraordinary level of grit and determination. Stepping onto the complex streets of Los Angeles at just 16 years old, he faced the daunting reality of navigating the entertainment industry completely on his own. Living out of his car, he survived on sheer ambition, actively crashing Hollywood events to which he was never officially invited. Walking into rooms filled with established industry professionals, he adopted a mindset of belonging. Pretending to be a peer among giants while navigating the profound internal dissonance that comes with projecting confidence while feeling entirely out of place. It was during these intense foundational years that he began to notice a hidden truth about the entertainment world. The realization that nearly everyone, from the rising starlet to the seasoned executive, is wrestling with their own versions of insecurity. The glamorous exterior of Hollywood often masks a collective anxiety, a shared phenomenon where individuals constantly feel like frauds, masking their vulnerabilities behind a carefully curated facade of success. This profound realization stripped away the intimidating mystique of the industry, allowing him to see his peers not as untouchable icons, but as deeply human beings who are simply figuring things out as they go. This lesson became incredibly vivid during the high-stakes production of the first season of High School Musical, The Series, the very show that would eventually catapult him into global stardom. On the day right before filming the highly anticipated season finale, the immense pressure of his rapidly changing life reached a breaking point, culminating in a severe mental breakdown backstage. Caught in the grip of intense panic, he felt entirely crushed by the weight of expectation, convinced that the production team had made a mistake in hiring him and that he was completely incapable of delivering the performance required of him. In that moment of intense vulnerability, showrunner Tim Federle pulled him aside for a quiet, life-changing conversation. When asked what was wrong, the young actor confessed his deepest fear, admitting that he felt like an absolute fraud who had no idea what he was doing. In an act of profound empathy and leadership, Federle looked at him and admitted that every single day he walks onto a television set, he is terrified that people will finally discover that he has absolutely no idea what he is doing either. This simple, honest admission shattered the illusion of perfection, completely altering the actor's perspective on success and giving him the psychological permission to embrace his own imperfections. It is this very philosophy that serves as the foundation for his memoir, Rookie, a title that encapsulates the ongoing feeling of being a beginner, regardless of how much success one achieves. The book is structured as a deeply personal exploration of this duality, divided into two distinct emotional halves that mirror his own personal growth. The first section acts as an energetic, empowering call to action, encouraging readers to relentlessly pursue their dreams, to leap into the unknown with confidence, and to believe in their own creative potential. It is a reflection of the bold teenager who lived in his car and crashed Hollywood parties, a celebration of the audacity required to make your mark on the world. However, the second half of the book pivots into much deeper, more contemplative waters, shifting the focus away from external validation and toward the crucial internal work required to find true peace. It addresses the sobering reality that all the fame, accolades, and material success in the world can never fill an internal void or provide lasting fulfillment. The narrative challenges the modern obsession with constant achievement, asking a poignant and foundational question: who are you when you wake up in the morning, stripped of your titles, your achievements, and the applause of the world? The real-world impact of this raw honesty is already manifesting in deeply profound ways, long before the book officially hits store shelves for public release on May 5th. An early draft of the manuscript was shared with a close friend's father, a well-established and highly successful lawyer who had spent decades climbing the corporate ladder. Reading through the vulnerable pages of the memoir, the attorney was hit with a sudden wave of self-realization, recognizing that he had spent his entire life fulfilling societal expectations rather than pursuing his actual creative passions. Moved by the book's core message, he made the radical decision to quit his legal career that very day, stepping away from financial security to finally pursue his true dreams. For Joshua, stories like this are the ultimate validation of his work, far outweighing any chart position or box office record. His ultimate hope for Rookie is that it serves as a beacon of hope and comfort for anyone feeling lost or isolated, offering readers the collective courage to change their lives and the reassuring knowledge that they are never alone in their struggles. As this monumental chapter of his life unfolds, there is still a beautiful space reserved for nostalgia, a warm appreciation for the projects and the people who helped shape his trajectory along the way. With the entertainment world recently celebrating the momentous 20th anniversary of the original High School Musical franchise, reflecting on his own time within that universe brings a joyful smile to his face. When looking back at the vast musical catalog of the series, one specific song stands out by a massive landslide as his absolute favorite to perform. The romantic, sweeping duet "Can I Have This Dance?" holds a deeply sacred place in his memory, largely due to the incredible experience of singing it alongside his immensely talented co-star Sophia Wiley. The day spent filming that particular sequence was filled with a rare, undeniable magic, a perfect alignment of choreography, music, and genuine creative chemistry that remains a definitive highlight of his television career. It is a fond look back at a beautiful stepping stone, a moment of joy that helped prepare him for the demanding live vocal performances he now delivers every single night in the heart of New York City. The clock continues to tick down toward showtime at the West Side Theater, marking the final moments of a deeply insightful conversation. Joshua Bassett's extraordinary run as Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors is rapidly approaching its conclusion, with his final performance scheduled for March 1. After which the remarkably talented Jordan Fisher will step into the iconic role to continue the show's incredible legacy. This transition marks the end of a specific theatrical chapter, but the momentum he has built in early 2026 shows absolutely no signs of slowing down. With his memoir poised to impact readers globally, new musical evolutions constantly developing in the studio, and a newfound sense of artistic groundedness, the future stretches out before him as an open road of endless possibility. He leaves the conversation to prepare for the stage, stepping back into the warm family dynamic of his castmates, ready to lose himself once more in the beautiful, chaotic, and redemptive world of live theater. The lights in the auditorium begin to dim, the audience takes their seats, and the magic begins anew, driven by an artist who has finally learned to embrace the beautiful uncertainty of being a perpetual rookie.